God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which you see. What's good, fam? We made it to lesson 44 of A Course in Miracles. This is such a great time to be alive. We are woke and we are awake in the dream, and we are here discussing that wokeness together. For today, we're going to stay purely focused on this state of being, and we are going to maintain it all day and practice this, because the more we practice this, the easier it will become, the more habitual it will become, until it no longer requires any practice or effort on our part, because this is what truly is. The only thing that we need to do is not get in the way of this, which is what's happening with the world. Is we'll fall asleep and we will forget that we are love and light and extensions of the greatest and all that is and pure positive source energy of God, and we are stepping in the way because of this powerful tool that is currently untrained. And because we are doing these lessons together, we are training it, and this is just, again, such a wonderful time to be alive. Today's a great lesson. We're going to dive right in, and then we'll, like usual, discuss it, apply it together, and I would say learn, but we're really unlearning, because this is nothing new. We've known all of this before we stepped in these bodies, and we are simply just being reminded. So let's go ahead and begin. You got the book, you already know what to do. Pull up to lesson 44 of A Course in Miracles. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Pull up, let's read this together. Lesson 44 of A Course in Miracles. God is the light in which I see. Today we are continuing the idea for yesterday, adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it, but light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist, but light and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. Beautifully said. So, one little thing that I want to say, I brought some materials to today's lesson just to help us understand this analogy a little better before we continue. So light is, and I'm gonna quote it. Let's see, where is it? Life reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. So light just simply is. Light is what you are. Light is what God is. Light is what every single person is in this world, although we may have forgotten. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Think of this as yourself, okay? We're going to turn it this way so it don't. This is light. This is what you are. Pure light. Light is infinite. It extends forever. There is no limits to light at all. There is no limits to me. There is no limits to you. Now, let's take this example, okay? So, this is what you have always been forever. You are always light, even before, regardless of what age you are. This is what me and you are. So me and you are not as much strangers as we may believe. Me and you are this, exactly the same. Now, stepping in this world, in these physical bodies, the day we're born, we are this pure positive light, and we have not forgotten yet, because we have not learned anything that caused us to forget that we are light. This is what forgetting looks like. Now, because this is what we are, we're born, and let's go ahead and take some paper, okay? And the paper represents the lenses which you're viewing life through. The paper represents what you've learned while being in this world. This is our pure perception. We haven't forgotten anything, but then around well-meaning people who are trying to do the best to raise us, trying to make sure that we're protected and safe and sound, made us feel like we were unsafe and we need to be protected from something. And that's the first false premise in this world, is there is nothing to be protected from, because remember, this is who you are. Although this body may appear like what we are, it is not. We are simply light that is eternal and forever and infinite. And although we're in these bodies, we forgot that. But here we are today in our remembrance of being light. And in this world, this is what it looks like to obscure that light. So you see this, the light's still there, still shining, and nothing could ever stop the light from shining because it simply is. It's truth. But we can make thoughts and images that we perceive that cause us to forget the light is there. We see a little bit of it, but this is a very basic level. This is where I believe because of our practice we have returned to, and soon we will be this again. But let's take a little bit of a darker paper. You see that? It obscures light even more. And depending on the stuff that we've learned in this world, it's going to look a little different for each one of us. This is us, and we're not able to clearly see our natural state of being. We could even get a darker piece of paper and throw on all of them. The light never stops shining because this is simply who you are. But whenever you are identifying with the ego, and whenever I identify with the ego, this is what we believe we are. This thick, dense body in this world of limitations, and we are not allowing the pureness of who we are to shine through. But a little visual representation that will help the both of us understand the purpose of this course is we are unlearning everything in our world, which is this stuff, all this junk, because the light simply is. Now, we could call what we're doing here learning, but I would prefer unlearning, because everything that is truth that we're being reminded of simply is. You don't have to learn what you already know, because the light is the truth. But we have to remove any blocks to our perception of that, which is what we're doing. So picture us together right now in this moment, discussing what we're discussing for the past 44 days and for the rest that we go on. And we were reminded of who we really were, and we got rid of that. We were reminded who we were again, and we got rid of that. We're consistently doing the we're consistently doing the practices and exercises. We remove that, and soon this is that state of enlightenment that we will regain, because this is who and what we are, and we cannot cease to be. Remember, death is not real. Although this body is capable of being destroyed and will perish one day, because it is nothingness, because this body is material in this world. It is nothing. It is meaningless. Body's meaningless. I know that for the people who are identifying themselves with the ego, that's very hard to hear, and it sounds like something they need to defend. But whenever you know this is who you are, there is nothing that you need to defend. And we're going to go ahead and continue so that way we can understand this a little more. But just know that that light that we just witnessed is what me and you are. And when me and you remove any perceptions to that light, we will see everything with this lens. I'm going to turn this back on. One more thing that just popped in my mind. So remember, me and you are projecting. Think of this as those projectors with the film. This is the film right here, okay? And this is what we are projecting at any given moment in time. When we are in our right minds and we are pure, we are not projecting, but we are extending. This is what we really are. Therefore, we have light to give. Therefore, we have love to give. Therefore, we extend that outward. So I'm going to go ahead and take, again, I'm going to use a speaker, for example, okay? Like yesterday. You see how I'm shining the light on this? Purely, I'm seeing this for what it really is. For truth, it is an instrument in this world to amplify sound. You could hear all the intricate details of sound and how it was engineered. It causes it to be louder than what it would on a different device. This is what its purpose for is in this world. And I see this for making people happy. They put on music, it makes them happy. It reminds them of who they really are and what they really are. They get in the mode. This is the happiness that the Holy Spirit intends us to see on this speaker. But whenever we are identifying ourselves with the ego at any given moment in time, this is the lens that we are projecting on the world. So now I am projecting this meaning that I have given to everything onto this. So although I think I'm seeing a speaker, I'm really not seeing it all. I am simply perceiving this dark projection of what I projected on this item right here. And that's what's happening with the entire world. Whenever I'm looking at And let's just take another piece of paper and another one. Whenever I'm looking at someone that I believe is my enemy, or someone I'm jealous of, or fearful of and afraid of, or someone that I believe has done me wrong and I do not want to forgive them because I hold grudges and they will never receive my forgiveness. That is all this junk that I am keeping shackled to myself. Therefore, we're not really affecting them as much as we're affecting ourselves. And this is the lens I'm perceiving through. So pretend you were perceiving me through that lens. This is what you're seeing, this projection. So all of that, this is who you are, the light, and you cannot help but be the light. But because we have learned all this junk, you think you're this junk, and you're projecting that on me and seeing all of my faults that you believe are there because you see them in yourself. And that's what we're doing. We are, and I, whenever I'm asleep, I have all this worry, doubt, and fear and sense of separation from God that I've added onto my perception, thinking that it's really there. And now I'm projecting that onto the world, and now that's all I see, and I'm talking about it. I'm thinking that's real. This person is annoying. This person bugs. They should be doing this differently. They need to change. But remember, it's all through this perception. But if I were to remove all of that and see this person with this light, I would understand that they could keep doing the same thing that they were just doing a while ago, while I had this false perception of who I and them in the world are, and I was angry and upset at them. They haven't changed, but I removed my sense of separation and regained my awareness of who I really am, which is light. And now I see them through this lens, which is truth. And now I don't need that person to change. I don't need nothing to change because I understand that everything's perfect already, because this is the lens that I'm viewing it from. So we are the ones who have to do the work, no one else. Now let's go ahead and continue, and I believe that because of that analogy, this will make so much more sense. In order to see, you must recognize, and one more thing, speaking of the word see, keep this in mind because the Course is very deliberate with the words that it uses. This is seeing. When I'm looking at anything with pure perception and truth, I am seeing, because God is the light in which I see. Whenever I am perceiving, I am not seeing at all. I'm simply asleep. I am in a dream. I am hallucinating. I am seeing something that is not there. But when I remove that, I am seeing again. In order to see, you must recognize that light is within, not without. You do not see outside yourself, nor is the equipment for seeing outside you. An essential part of this equipment is the light that makes seeing possible. It is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. One more time. It, the light, is with you always, because God is the light in which you see. Therefore, God is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. Today, we are going to attempt to reach the light, that light. For this purpose, we will use a form of exercise which has been suggested before and we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form of the undisciplined mind and represents a major goal of mind training. It requires precisely what the untrained mind lacks. Yet, this training must be accomplished if you are to see. Have at least 3 practice periods today, each lasting 3 to 5 minutes. A longer time is highly recommended, but only if you find the time slipping by with little or no sense of strain. The form of practice we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most difficult, unnatural, and difficult for the untrained mind. That's powerful. I'm going to read that one more time. The form of practice we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most unnatural and difficult for the untrained mind. So that's a good way to know where you're at in relationship to truth, is this course, for example. If it is appearing to you like natural and ease and effortless, if you get that from these lessons, which I'm pretty sure you do because we've made it to 40 days strong, so 44 actually, I'm pretty sure that you're still here for a reason, and I'm still here for a reason, because we have a trained mind and we're not as far from truth as we once were. Therefore, we're in the vicinity of truth, and this is why this was brought to us at perfect timing. Because if we were not ready for it, we'd be looking at this thing, but we would not be able to comprehend it at all, because you definitely need some comprehension skills to receive the message that this book is conveying. And then vice versa, you'll know if you have an untrained mind if this seems unnatural or difficult, because remember, what we're learning is very natural. This is truth. This is something that we are a part of. This truth and knowledge, this is who we are. So if who you are seems unnatural, that means, and if who I am seems unnatural, which is the light, we literally have done a 360-degree turn facing the world of the ego, of worry, doubt, and fear, and we are not seeing the light at all. So be glad that we are here today undoing that, because the light is what we want to see, and that is the lens from which we want to see the world. Let's continue. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. You are quite ready to learn the form of exercise we will use today, but you may find that you will encounter strong resistance. The reason is very simple. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up. That could feel a little bit scary, which is why it's saying that it may cause a little bit of resistance, and we may encounter resistance, because very simply, while we practice in this way, you leave behind everything you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up, everything that we now believe. And we're going to use the light again just to help this make more sense. This is everything we now believe. This is all the shield and layers of protection and safety that we think we need to protect us from worry, doubt, fear, insecurity, and not allowing people to see our insecurities, because we think they're there, but they're not really there. We are this. But it's going to be a little bit resistance. We're going to experience a little bit of resistance. You may not, but I know I experienced a little bit, because you're literally stripping away parts of everything that you became in this world to remember who and what you really are. And remember, this is what we want, regardless of how it may seem. And we want to hold on to some stuff that may be what you want when identifying yourself to the ego. But if you were in your right mind, and because me and you are in our right mind, this is exactly the work that we are wanting to embark on, because it will free us from all that unnecessary strain that we have put on our own trail that has been causing us to not be the receiver of all the good that this life has to offer us. Let's continue. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. Yet perceived though through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. One more time. Yet perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. Remember, the ego is everything that is not light, which is not real at all, because if it is not light, it is not really there. This is all that is. Now, the ego feels like it's being stripped away of identity, which is why that feels so fearful. But just understand that there is nothing to fear, because God is here. I just had to say that. Anyways, let's continue. Yes, God is here right now with us in this moment and every single moment. What a great thing to know. Remember, God is the light in which we see. God is the light in which we see. The ego is the darkness that we made. When we remove that, we remember that God is the light in which we see, shining through us, which is who we are. While you practice in this way, you believe behind everything that you now believe, etc., etc. Yet perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. If you can stand aside from the ego ever so little, You will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and its fears are meaningless. You might find it helpful to remind yourself from time to time that to reach light is to escape from darkness. Whatever you may believe to the contrary, God is the light in which you see. You are attempting to reach Him. Begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open and close them slowly, repeating the idea several times more. Then try to sink into your mind, letting go of every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. Your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. It is merely taking its natural course. Try to observe your passing thoughts without involvement and slip quietly by them. So, what the exercise will look like today is repeating the lesson with eyes open. God is the light in which I see. You're going to just simply look around you and repeat, God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which I see. And then after a few minutes of that, you're going to go ahead and, like usual, close your eyes and view your inner world, which is no different than your outer world, although me and you may appear like that at the moment because of our untrained mind, but they're really one and the same. Inner, outer, both a reflection of one another. Inner is the cause of the outer. Now, remember, God is the light in which I see. God is the light in which I see. While no particular approach is advocated for this form of exercise, what is needful is a sense of the importance of what you are doing. Its inestimable value to you, and an awareness that you are attempting something very holy. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. It is also the only one that has any meaning, because it is the only one that has any real use to you at all. If resistance rises in any form, pause long enough to repeat today's idea, keeping your eyes closed unless you are aware of fear. In that case, you will probably find it more reassuring to open your eyes briefly. Try, however, to return to the exercises with eyes closed as soon as possible. So one more time, if resistance rises in any form, worry, doubt, fear, you find yourself comparing yourself to somebody else who you believe has better features than you, or someone else who may have more money or more time or more experience or knowledge, whatever comparisons that you may make that make you feel not enoughness, remember, repeat, God is the light in which I see. And because I am not seeing and feeling happy right now, I am not seeing at all. Because I am not happy, I am not fulfilling my function, I am not joyful, and therefore something has gone wrong. And because that, it is me who needs to remove the paper and the lenses that I am seeing everything right now so I can see, because God is the light in which I see. So it's always us. There's nothing out there that is going to save us ever. No pills, no drugs, no designer things, no clothing, no material possessions, no cars, no house, no relationship, no home, none of that. None of that is going to save us, because none of that is really there. We are giving that stuff all the meaning it has for us. This is the only thing that is going to save us. And when we get to this point, we're going to understand that there was never nothing to be saved from except our own unloving thoughts that caused us to not be able to perceive everything with this lens. If you are doing the exercises correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a feeling that you are approaching, if not actually entering, into light. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world, and do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them power to do so. Throughout the day, repeat the idea often, with eyes open or closed. Wow, I'm going to go back real quick because that was powerful. Do not forget that they cannot hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. Nothing in this world, no job, no perceived lack of money, no feeling like you're not enough, no arguments with people, no car accidents, no flat tires, no nothing in this world can hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. Throughout the day, repeat the idea often with eyes open or closed as seems better to you at that time. But do not forget. Above all, be determined to not to forget today. Above all, be determined not to forget. And that is the end of lesson 44. That's the most important thing. Be determined not to forget. In this instant, if you are determined not to forget, go on your phone if you haven't already and set a timer, because you will only have to use that timer for about a good month, I would say, until it becomes a proclivity, a pattern, a habit, and you won't need the phone no more, the timer. You'll know, okay, this thought just popped up naturally. I didn't have to try because I practiced it so much times. But just right now, because of our untrained mind, me and you still have to be a little disciplined right now. Remember, when we're coasting up and up and up like we are, and we get to that level of enlightenment, which I believe we are at right now, we can press autopilot and chill here. But because we are not in a state, because we still have things of this world that we have given meaning to that take us out of this state of being, me and you have to be very determined, willing, and careful about staying in this state of mind, because at any moment in time we could experience something in this world, and due to the meaning that we given it while identifying ourselves with the ego and not with the light of God, it will cause us to fall asleep, and we will get angry, sad, frustrated, jealous, envy, lack, whatever form that fear may take. Remember that they're all the same, and they're all equally disturbing to our peace of mind, regardless of how big or small one may be. All fear and forms it takes are all equally disturbing to our peace of mind, because this is our peace of mind. And I cannot help but just shine the light one more time before we go today, because this is who you are, this is what I am, and this is who everyone in this world is. But we forgot, and me and you here today have removed all the junk that the world is seeing, and we are really seeing. The world is perceiving, we are seeing. The world is sleeping, me and you are awake. The world is hallucinating, we are clear-minded, sure-footed, decisive, and we are seeing. Again, the world is making illusions, making, me and you are creating. So do not forget the light today. And I believe that was a great lesson for today. I really enjoyed the time that we spent here together. Now, let's take the time today to reread this individually and really let the words and the intentions sink in. Let's apply the idea for today. And until tomorrow, I will see you for lesson 45 of A Course in Miracles. May we never be the same.